Hagrid, jumping out so angry that the Dursleys staggered back to their corner. How could a car crash kill Lily and James Potter? It's an arrogant, a scandal. Harry Potter not knowing his own story when every kid in our knows his name. But why? What happened? Harry asked angrily. The anger faded from Hagrid's face. He looked suddenly anxious. I never expected this, he said in a loud, worried voice. I had no idea when Dumbledore told me there might be trouble getting hold of you. How much you didn't know? Harry, I don't know if I'm the right person to tell you, but someone got her. You can't go off Hogwarts not knowing. He threw a dirty look at Dursley. Well, it's the best you know as much as I can tell you. Might. I can't tell you everything. It's a great mystery part of it. He sat down, stared to the fire for a few seconds, and then said, It begins, I suppose, with a person called, but it's incredible you don't know his name. Everyone in our world knows. Who? Well, I don't like saying his name if I can help it. No one does. Why not? Gulping gargles, Harry. People were still scared. Blimey, this is difficult. See, there was this wizard who went bad as you can go. Worse than worse. His name was Harry Glad, but no words came out. Could you write it down? Harry suggested. Nah, I can't spell it. All right. Voldemort. Hagrid shut. Don't make me say it again. Anyway, this wizard, about 20 years ago, started looking for followers. Goblin too. Someone was afraid. Someone just wants a bit of his power, 'cause he was getting himself power, all right? Dark days, Harry. Don't know who to trust. Didn't dare to get friendly with strange wizards or witches. Terrible things happened. He was taking over. Of course, someone stood out to him, and he killed them horribly. The only safe place left was Hogwarts. Reckon Dumbledore's the only one you know who was afraid of. Didn't dare try taking the school. Not just then, anyway. Now, your mom and dad was as good witches and wizards I ever knew. Head boy and girl at Hogwarts in their day. Suppose the mystery is why you know who never tried to get on his side before. Probably knew they were too close to Dumbledore. Want anything to do with the dark side. Maybe he thought he could push them. Maybe he just went and got away. All anyone knows. He turned up in the village where you was all living on Halloween 10 years ago. You were just a year old. He came to your house and Hagrid suddenly pulled out a very dirty spot handful and blew his nose down like a fat one. Sorry, he said, but it was that sad. Know your mom and dad, a nice people you couldn't find. Anyway, you know who killed them. And then it was a mystery of the things. He tried to kill you too. Wanted to make a killing job of it, I suppose. Or maybe he just liked killing by then. But he couldn't do it. Never wondered how you got that mark on your forehead? That was an ordinary cut. That's what you got when a powerful evil curse touches you. To care for your mom and dad like your house, even. But it didn't work on you. And that's why you're famous, Harry. No one ever did after he decided to kill them. No one, except you. And he killed someone of the best wizards and wizards of the age, the McKillers, the Bones, the Prophets, and you was only a baby, and you lived. Something very painful was going on in Harry's mind. As Hagrid's story came to a close, he saw again a blinding flash of green light, more clearly than he had ever remembered it before, and he remembered something else. For the first time in his life, a high, cold crow laughed. Hagrid was watching him steadily. "Took you from the ruined house myself, on Dumbledore's order. Brought you to this land. Lord of old Tush," said Uncle Vernon. Harry jumped. He had almost forgotten that Dursley was here. Uncle Vernon certainly seemed to have got back his courage. He was glaring at Hagrid and first was cross. "Now you listen here, boy," he snarled. "I expect there's something strange about you. Probably nothing at a good beating would have cured. And as for these things about your parents, well, they were worse. No denying it, and the world's better off without them in my opinion. As for all they got, getting mixed up with this wizarding type, just what I expect. Always knew they'd come to a sticky end." But at that moment, Hagrid leapt from a sofa and drew a pink umbrella from inside his coat, pointing this at Uncle Vermon's like a sword. He said, "I'm warning you, Dursley. I'm warning you. One more word." In the danger of being spilled at the end of an umbrella by a big bearded giant, Uncle Vermon's courage failed again. He flattened himself against the wall and fell silent. "That's better," said Hagrid, breathing heavily and sitting back on the sofa with the tie sagged right down to the floor. Harry, meanwhile, still had questions to ask, hundreds of them. "But what happened to Sorry, I mean, you know who?" "Good question, Harry. Disappeared. Vanished. Some same night he tried to kill you. Makes you even more famous. That's the biggest mystery, see? He was getting more and more powerful. Where did he go?" "Someone say he died. Ghost swap, in my opinion. Don't know if he had enough human left in him to die. Someone said he's still out there, biding his time. But I don't believe it. People who was inside come back to ours. Some of them came gotten kind chances. Don't reckon they could done if he was come back. Most of us reckon he's still out there somewhere but lost his powers, too weak to carry on. 'Cause something about you finished him, Harry. There was something gone the night he hadn't come on. I don't know what it was. No one does, but something about you stopped him, all right?" Hagrid looked at Harry with a groan and expects blessing in his eyes, but Harry, instead of feeling peace and proud, felt quite sure there has been a horrible mistake. A wizard him? How could he possibly be? He spent his life courted by Dudley and bullied by Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon. If he really was a wizard, why hadn't they been turned into warty toys every time they tried to lock him in his cupboard? If he once defeated a great sorcerer in the world, how can Dudley had always been able to kick him around like a football? "Hagrid," he said quietly, "I think you must have a mistake. I don't think I can be a wizard." To his surprise, Hagrid shrugged. "Not a wizard, you? Never made something happen when you was scared or angry?" Harry looked at him fire. Now he came to think about it. Every old thing that had ever made his aunt and uncle furious with him and happened when Harry had been upset or angry, chased by Dudley gun. He may somehow found himself out of their reach. Didn't go to school with a ridiculous haircut. He meant to get it grew back. And the very last time Dudley had hit him, hadn't he got his worries without ever realizing what he's doing? Hadn't he set a bold conceal on them? Harry looked back at Hagrid, smiling, and saw that Hagrid was perceptibly blinking at him. "See?" said Hagrid. "Harry Potter not a wizard? You will be right famous at Hogwarts." But Uncle Vernon wasn't going to give in with a flight. "Haven't I told you he's not going?" he says. "He's going to a somewhere high and he'll grateful for it. I read those letters and he needs a sort of rubbish. Spell books and ones, and if he wants to go, a great muggle like you won't stop him," growled Hagrid. "Stop Lily and James Potter sons going to Hogwarts, you're mad. His name been down ever since he was born. He's of the finest school when wizard in the world. 7 years there he won't know himself. He will be youngsters of his own sort. For a change, and he will be under the greatest headmaster Hogwarts ever had. Alberston, I'm not paying for some crippled old school to teach him magic tricks," yelled Uncle Vernon. But he finally gone too far. Hagrid sliced his umbrella and wore it out of his head. "Never," he sounded, "insult Albus Dumbledore in front of me." He brought the umbrella swishing down through the air to point at Dudley. There was a flash of firelight and sound like a firecracker, a sharp score. And the next second, Dudley was dancing on the spot where his hand got over his fat bottom, howling in pain. When he turned his back on them, Harry saw a curly pigtails poking through a hole in his turf. Uncle Vernon roared, pulling Aunt Petunia and Dudley into the other room. He cast one less terrified look at Hagrid and slammed the door behind them. Hagrid looked down at his umbrella and stroked his board. "Shouldn't let me temper," he said roughly. "But it don't work anyway." Meant to turn into a pig, but I suppose he was so much like a pig that anyway there was nothing left to do. He cast a sideways look at Harry under his branching eyeballs. "Be grateful if you don't mention to tell anyone at Hogwarts," he said. "I'm not supposed to do magic, secret speaking. I was allowed to do a bit, follow you and get your letters to you and stuff. What's the reason I was so keen to take on the job?" "Why aren't you supposed to do magic?" asked Harry. "Oh, well, I was at Hogwarts myself. I guess God is below. Tell you the truth. In my 3rd year, they snapped me right ahead everything, but Dumbledore let me stay on his gamekeeper, great man Dumbledore." "Why were you expelled?" "It's getting late and we got to do tomorrow," said Hagrid loudly. Cotton got the tone. "Get all your books in that." He took off his thick black coat and threw it to Harry. "You can keep under that," he said. "Don't mind if it wiggles a bit. I think I still got a couple of storms in one of the pockets." 谢谢大家，拜拜。